Welcome back to Heja Framtiden, the Swedish podcast on the future. I am at Big Meet, the big foodtech conference in Stockholm at Epicenter. I'm sitting here with Darlene Chiu Bryant from Global SF. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be at the Big Meet here in Stockholm.
Tell me a bit about Global SF. What brings you here to Stockholm, and what is Global SF?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Global SF is an economic development organization established as a nonprofit in San Francisco, and of course, it's all about promoting San Francisco, but most importantly, making San Francisco a global resilient city. And how do you do that? It's all about connecting the dots, connecting companies and investors from all over the world, bringing them to San Francisco, but also helping local companies expand overseas, and which brings us here to Stockholm because San Francisco, as a city of innovation, we have definitely grown in the food tech space, and we wanted to bring our investors, our startups, and our chefs to Stockholm to see what's going on here.
And you mentioned before that biotech wasn't really a thing in San Francisco until 2005. And from then on, it has just grown exponentially with biotech, life science, and then food tech. How has the system been growing to what it is today? And how big is food tech in San Francisco at this moment?
Okay, I would say it's San Francisco being the center of innovation. And to your point, biotech, life sciences was really not a thing until 2005 when the California Stem Cell Research Institute opened in San Francisco. And all of a sudden, a district called Mission Bay erupted and is now overflowing and run out of space. And so our biotech district has actually grown. That being said, out of biotech and life sciences, when you're thinking about health, you're always not just thinking about, medicine. You're not always thinking about, what kind of therapeutic services is going on, but you also think about what you're ingesting and consuming. And so out of biotech, what we saw is food tech, alternative proteins, for example. And out of that, you have, alternative eggs, you have alternative meat, right? And the list has grown. We now have a lot of actually innovation hubs too. For example, we have an innovation hub called Mista, and it's started by Swiss companies, right? And even though they are Swiss food companies, they realized they had to be the center of innovation, so they decided to open in San Francisco, and they've expanded. And we also see a lot of other companies where their R&D, they need to move to San Francisco because they know the talent is there. They know that they can have the schools, right, where they can have the R&D and the support to help them grow as well. So with that, and because in San Francisco, we are a food mecca in so many different ways. People are always here to look at what's new, what's fresh, and by the way, let's look at social responsibility, right? Let's look at climate change. So you have all that's driving innovation in San Francisco as well.
And some people view San Francisco and Silicon Valley as some kind of elitist clique, but still it's on the edge of new technologies as well. And it's where, as you mentioned, that talents come, you have investors, you have cutting edge technologies. What areas are most interesting at the moment, you would say?
I would say San Francisco, the Bay Area, cliquish, I wouldn't really call it cliquish. I think that, quite frankly, the ecosystem is really forward giving, right? Everybody is giving forward. They're happy to connect you to people. And what we saw during the pandemic was that as soon as the pandemic was starting to wane, everybody was just so excited to get back together again. Even though everything was being done by Zoom, people just wanted to get back together again. That being said, when you think about what's hot and what's not, I think that there's a lot of cellular-based stuff going on, whether it be whiskey, whether it be salmon, right? There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of fermentation going on now, which is really exciting too, because we're talking about saving the planet, right? And what can you do that saves water, right? But can produce and create something that is healthy and that is sustainable, right? So we see a lot of that going on as well.
And why do you think Stockholm is interesting for San Francisco and vice versa? Well, how can this exchange build stronger bonds between the countries?
I think this is really interesting because Stockholm and San Francisco are so very much alike when it comes to innovation. We're all about social change. We're also all about social impact and saving the planet, right, in many ways. And so I think that we can learn a lot from each other there. The fact that, I would say the food culture is very similar. The innovation culture is very similar. So I think that definitely we can learn a lot from each other moving forward. And San Francisco, Global SF, even though SF may stand for San Francisco, it's also Global SF. SF stands for So Future. So.
Oh yeah, we are so future.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because we want to make San Francisco is really forever been very entrepreneurial, right? So always thinking about how to do something different, how to do something more efficient, and what can we learn from the past, and just be ahead of the curve at all times. So we're always future forward looking and future forward thinking.
We also know that San Francisco has social challenges now.
Yes.
How are they being tackled politically? I mean, do you have problems getting innovators to stay in the city?
I would say not so much. I think a lot of, I know you always hear about companies leaving San Francisco and Silicon Valley. However, I would say that if you're going to start to innovate, you do still have to come to the city because that's where the networking happens and that's where the talent is. And if you have an idea, it can actually help you grow. Once the company is a little bit more mature, right, and you need to, expand your company, then okay, it's okay to move out. And I would say it probably doesn't make sense for you to stay in the city anymore because San Francisco is expensive, right? But the thing is, if you are a startup, if you do have an idea, you do have to come to the city because that's where everything's going to happen. It really does.
What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of food?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. All I can say is that there's so much that can happen. I'm actually waiting to see what is the next big thing. So just wait to see what's going to happen. It's just wait and see at this moment because there's always something different going on, something new to look forward to. And quite frankly, there's always a new restaurant opening as well, which is always fun.
I usually ask my guests, what is your best tip for making the world a better place in the future?
I would say my best tip for making the world a better future is whatever decision you make, you can go to sleep at night knowing that you did do something for the future. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Darlene Chiu Bryant from Global SF.
Yes, thank you, Christian, for having me.
And check out globalsf.biz for more information about how you can collaborate between, for example, Stockholm and San Francisco. Check out hejaframtiden.se for more information about this podcast and my other projects with the books and magazines and lectures, etc. My name is Christian von Essen. Thank you so much for listening.